serving as a sponsor for S-Ateen, I've had the opportunity to be a part of the Sunday evening phone meetings, and I learned so much in those meetings. As I listened to the shares of the teens and the other sponsor who is on the call. Generally there's 2 of us on a call, always, sometimes 3. But the bottom line is that we're there to learn from each other and to heal. And so it's been a joy, but it's also been a privilege. The courage that these youth display in their efforts to just get better, to find peace and to find healing and to find courage, to set boundaries where they're needed, and the ability that they show as they keep coming back. They learn those tools and learn to use those tools that are here in this program for them. I love being a part of that.
Give it a try. If you have some S-Anon recovery behind you, you've got something to offer. And the young people are very appreciative. We're not there as parent substitutes, as counselors, as professionals. We're not there as therapists. We're there just to offer some guidance and share in the meetings from our own teen perspective. So there's no pressure. You're not there as a professional. I'm not telling the kids what to do, what they should be doing in their lives, any more than I would be in an S-Anon meeting telling another S-Anon member what they should be doing. And we have the same guidelines like in an S-Anon meeting, that we don't crosstalk, we don't give advice. It's just a safe place. And as an S-Ateen sponsor, I'm just a safe adult person for them to be with in the meeting, and offer a little guidance when needed in the meetings. So it's not a difficult task, and it's such a rewarding piece of service work.
That it is the most rewarding experience of your life. I just recently got a huge compliment from my husband, and he said, I just love the look in your eyes when you talk about you're going to be working with the teens, or you're going to be on a call with the teens tonight. He said you can just tell how much you love doing what you're doing, working with them.
If your heart tells you that you have something to share with young people, even if you have no clue what it is, but as you ask your higher power, if you feel that pull, I just try to say yes when I feel that in my own life. And I definitely felt it about being an S-Ateen sponsor. And I work with wonderful other adults who are sponsors, and it's an awesome privilege to serve with them. But it's the kids that keep me coming back. They're amazing.
I get so much out of it myself. I don't have any children of my own, but I really believe in giving back. And S-Anon, in order to keep what I've been given, I need to continue to give it away. And it means so much to me to give back to younger people. And like I said, I grew up with sex addiction in my home, and it's really, really healing to me to be able to share, not in that great of a detail, but to share feelings from my own teen point of view. And it's healing for me, and comfort for me in looking back at my own childhood issues. And it's helped me to, I guess, release a lot of my family shame, just even working with the young people. And knowing that my parents did the best they could with the tools they had at the time, which was basically no tools. They didn't have recovery. They didn't have other safe people to go to, and also just to see the growth in these young people, and S-Ateen is for young people ages 12 to 19, and it's just so heartwarming to me to see a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid come into the rooms, and even if they seem fidgety, or even if they seem like they're not interested, or they might be sitting in. I remember one time at a convention, there was this one young teen, and he was sitting there at each meeting, not looking like he was paying attention at all, and he was doing this. Well, it was origami stuff with the paper and making little things. And I wasn't going to tell him not to do it. He really wasn't disturbing anybody, but I was convinced he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't getting anything out of the meetings. And then once he opened his mouth, it was like, oh my gosh, everything was just so insightful that he was saying. And sometimes young people need to do that. They need to sit there and play with paper or whatever, but they're still getting something out of the meeting. And like I said, when they share, it's usually so insightful, and they don't have those layers of defenses built up. So thanks.
So for me, I am the child of a sexaholic, and for me, the meetings that are all about spouses are not as meaningful for me. And I kind of wait for people who are also children to come to meetings. And I really reached out about the S-Ateen meetings because one of my sponsees had a child who was approaching 12. And I said, by the time she's 12, I want S-Ateen to be available for her, for you, for her. And that's really where my commitment began. But once I got into it, I really found how it helped me, because they were talking about my experiences. And so those meetings mean a lot to my recovery. And it also gives me a chance to give back, because I'm not a spouse. I don't think I have as much to give to the women in the meetings who are there because of their spouses. And this is a way I can give back to a program that has meant so much to me and my recovery.
So when I first was asked to participate as an S-Anon group sponsor, I was actually really nervous. I assumed that because I didn't have kids, I wasn't going to have anything to offer. And one of the best things that someone in the program said to me was, well, weren't you a teen once? And that really changed my perspective about, oh yeah, I was actually a teen, turns out. And so, to be able to relate to them in that way is something that I found to be really special. First of all, I find it extremely rewarding to see the cycle being actively broken before my eyes, to see kids who are having opportunities I didn't have, to be able to express their feelings in a safe place, to be able to talk about hard things, all of which are things I didn't get to do when I was that age. And to be able to witness that and to be of service to that is something that has been a huge gift in my life. And I think also something that allows me to be in touch with those parts of myself. I don't sit around thinking a lot about when I was a teenager, because I'm caught up in life and I'm caught up in being an adult now. But seeing those things come out in them allows me to think about my own experience as a teen and as a child, and to see things in a different light. And so I'm extremely grateful for that as well.
When I did have a local S-Ateen meeting going, face-to-face meeting in my local area, we found it best to have it at a location where there is already an S-Anon meeting going on. The original place that we had the first S-Ateen meeting going, there happened to be an S-Anon meeting and an SA meeting going in that location. That's not necessary, but at least an S-Anon meeting going, because a lot of the kids aren't old enough to drive, and that way if a parent is coming there for a meeting anyways, the parent will be in their own meeting, the teen will be in another meeting going on at the same time. It doesn't have to be, it can be at a separate time, separate day and time, basically whatever works. And it's a good idea to have, granted there needs to be at least two adult S-Anon sponsors for that S-Ateen meeting, but it's a good idea to have, if possible, 4 sponsors, so that way it can be rotated. And also, it's a very good idea that if the sponsors are going to be in that S-Ateen meeting on a weekly basis or even every other week, that they have another S-Anon meeting to go to. Because for the sponsors, it doesn't take the place of a regular S-Anon meeting. Again, I need to keep in mind as a sponsor about that analogy of putting on my own oxygen mask first. That I need to continue to be well grounded in my own S-Anon recovery if I want to continue to give back to young people. And for me, giving back in service is an insurance policy for me that I'm going to commit to staying grounded in my own program, that I'm going to stay connected with my S-Anon sponsor and other program people, and I'm going to stay close to my own S-Anon fellowship, because the S-Anon program has saved my life, and I don't ever want to drift away from the program. But giving back in service, especially in this way, to me, it's a real commitment that I'm not going to just shrug off. And when I am scheduled even to be on the phone meetings with the online community, that's a very important commitment to me. And I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be prepared for the meeting. So being involved with S-Ateen has helped me to stay on track with my own program.
But at the International Convention, again, it just blows me away how much these youth are able to get in touch with their feelings and to share those feelings with each other and with whoever the sponsors are in the room. But when I've had the privilege of being in the room with them, I'm just grateful to see the courage that they have and the desire they have to laugh together, to play together, to share together, and to grow together. And it's really infectious. It just makes you feel like there's such hope in this world when you see them grab a hold of the S-Ateen program, work their steps as best they can, and then come to conventions or to retreats or wherever they can find an S-Ateen program and receive the blessings of being together and growing together.
They are so genuine. They are so honest with their shares, and you can actually see how much better they are than they would have been without S-Ateen.
I believe the greatest benefit that the teens get out of the program, and I've witnessed this, is that inside of our group meeting, they can talk about what they want with anonymity in a safe environment, and they have other teams that they can talk to about that, and there's no reservation, there's no shame, there's no holding back, and I think that frees them to just come right out and talk. And what's interesting is that I've observed that from 12 to 17, at least yesterday, they're all listening to each other. Even it was a 13-year-old was listening to the 17-year-old talk about 17-year-old issues, but she was listening, and they all listen. And the benefit is that, of course, they have sponsors who will also be there, 2 sponsors to protect them as well. So
I've never seen an S-Ateen member, fail, who has stayed with recovery. I've seen them blossom and become, experience the freedom and the joy and the happiness that adult S-Anon members experience with recovery. And like I said earlier, that they get it quicker. They get it quicker, and it's just very refreshing. And their kids are so appreciative, because often I feel like, well, what do you mean? What did I do? Well, I showed up for them, and I let them talk without judgment, without interrupting them, without telling them what they should do. And some of them never got that from adults in their life, at least not up until this point. So it's a pretty easy task. Just have to make a little time. That's all. But it's a very, very rewarding piece of service work. So yeah.
It's an opportunity for real service to a group that is going to keep on serving as they grow older. So it's kind of leaving a legacy of service, because it doesn't just stop with us. I believe that S-Ateens really appreciate the S-Ateen program, and that when they get old enough to be an S-Anon as an adult, when they hit that 20 mark, they keep coming back because they know they got help for themselves and they want to keep sharing it. It's a privilege, and all I can say is if you get a prompt, it's a good idea to say yes. You won't regret it.